Hey everyone, it's Emily. I'm back with Justin, and today we're excited to bring you 10 alternatives to the Rolex Submariner.
Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video content.
We picked some pretty great watches that we're excited to kind of do a brief little overview, but you know what's coming first. A nice little wrist check.
Wrist check.
You want me to start it off today?
Start it off.
I know this is 10 alternatives to the Submariner, but I felt like if we're speaking about dive watches, I had to bring in the dive watch of all dive watches.
Yeah.
This is a 16808. Love it. It's on a leather strap today, but still.
And it's the gold
Yellow
version,
gold.
which isn't the quintessential stainless sub. So it's
Exactly.
slightly different. It's a little bit outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my fave.
Well, today I'm going with one of my personal favorites.
Ooh.
Is the Tudor Black Bay and the bronze, which
So
you know me,
good.
I love bronze.
Kind of matched today.
Yeah, we definitely got that gold tone going, and anyway, I think it's a great alternative. But let's get into some of the other alternatives. That
Yes, please. So we're going to keep this in the Rolex family to start. Justin, tell us a little bit about the Sea-Dweller that we've got here.
Okay, so we can't talk about alternatives to the Submariner without talking about the Sea-Dweller,
Very
right?
true.
I love the Sea-Dweller. It's very, very similar to the Sub in terms of looks, but it's a little more capable. Yeah, it's quite a bit more capable.
Yes.
Whether you will actually use or need that is up for debate. But it looks really similar. Same size width case, but it's a little bit thicker because of the higher depth rating. But it has a fully demarcated bezel, which is kind of a nice touch.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's just to set it apart from the Submariner a little bit different. And one of my personal favorite features is it doesn't have a Cyclops.
Yes.
And this is the last year's model. The newer one, they added the Cyclops, which I was a little disappointed about. But
People definitely have their opinions about the Cyclops versus no
Yes.
Cyclops. So if you're a Sea-Dweller fan, leave us a note in the comments and let
Yeah.
us know, are you into Cyclops or not?
or not. And they haven't
pretty
had them
interesting.
up
Yeah.
until now. So in this version we're talking about, there's no Cyclops on it, which to me I think it's really clean
I
on
like
the
it.
dial. I don't have a problem reading the reading the date. If you do, then you probably opt for it. But anyway, very, very similar to the Sub. And to me, it's kind of also like the cooler brother of the Sub that's not quite so hypey.
Yes.
And people.
Would this be the big brother or the little brother?
I think it's the big brother
I think
because
so too, okay.
it's like the tougher brother
Yes,
of the Submariner,
yes.
right? And it doesn't get quite so much attention, but it's actually a little bit tougher. Anyway, I like that fact about it. So
This is a good nod. Now, I know we have another Rolex that
We do.
we kind of want to get to, so go ahead and bring that one in.
So the next one, we're not straying too far.
Definitely not. Talk about big brother, though.
Yes. So this is the Sea-Dweller Deepsea.
Is this the firstborn boy?
Yes, this is the very more capable version. Extreme depth rating. It's a lot bigger. It's both deeper and wider.
Yeah, you can see.
Exactly. Yeah, you can see it's a much thicker case. So this is a big watch. I mean, if you're you're into dive watches and you want something big and beefy, then you want to stay in Rolex, then this is it,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, and it looks a little bit different than the Sub as well. We have the black version here, but it also comes with the James Cameron version, which is the nice blue to black fade on the
Yes.
dial, which I think looks really
Reminiscent
nice.
of water
Yeah,
as you
very
kind of go
sporty. And so anyway, this one is like if you're looking for a Sub but want something
Don't want to stray too far.
bigger and beefier and want to keep it in that Rolex family, then the Deepsea is definitely a good choice.
Two really viable options. I'm excited to actually step out of Rolex and get into some other brands.
Yes.
We do kind of have a parallel jump to
Right.
Tudor, so let's go ahead and...
Yeah, these first couple too are similar in price, if not a little bit more expensive than the Submariner, which a lot of times we're looking for an alternative to maybe save a little bit of money
Yes.
or get some other watches or something. So let's start with a
that in
Tudor.
mind.
Yes.
Ooh.
So here we have the Tudor Pelagos.
Beautiful.
And this is a great dive watch. I love this watch. It's titanium, which is a little bit different
Very.
than the Submariner and the ones we've talked about before. So it has a little bit different look. It's also really comfortable on the wrist. It's a little bit lighter, and it's just a great watch all around.
Yep, you still kind of get that dive feel.
It does. It definitely has the dive feel. It has the unidirectional bezel. It has the lume on this actually is great. I love the lume on this. I think it's better than the
The
Rolex
lume is wonderful,
It's so
which is
good.
a really key point to dive watches as a
It
whole.
is. It does,
So-
and it has the luminous pip to qualify officially as a dive watch. Great depth rating. It's just a good all-around dive watch, and it doesn't look exactly like a Sub. It looks like a dive watch, but it doesn't look exactly like a Sub. Where the Sea-Dweller, while technically it's not a Submariner, it looks really, really close.
Yep. This one's awesome.
And this one also, just to mention, it comes in a couple different colors where
Yes.
it has like the blue dial and blue bezel, and it's just really fun. I think it's a good option.
I actually really love this in the blue, but
too.
even just for the sake of, I don't know, clean lines if you care, while you're diving, this is a perfect alternative.
Really good, yeah. And this isn't the only one from Tudor. Tudor has another great Submariner alternative. We have the Black Bay. There's a lot of versions of the Black Bay. Here we have the Black Bay Black, which is very different looking. It's really cool. It's all blacked out. It has the black ceramic case, has the black stainless PVD coated bezel, and it just really makes it pop. I mean, it's a dive watch, and I've never used it diving. To me, I don't know if the all black would be...
I know, that's my first thought.
Is it easier to see diving? Is it harder? I don't know. Maybe if you guys out there have dove with this watch and you want to chime in, leave us a comment and let us know. Is it easier to read underwater because of the black, or does it make it harder? I'd be curious to see.
It still clearly has all the capabilities that a dive watch needs. It's beautiful. I love kind of the mix-up with this Black Bay model as a whole.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw this one in there as well because, like I said, there's a lot of different versions. I'm wearing the bronze one today. But just goes to show you, I mean, same watch, different case, slightly different dial, but a great dive watch and a great alternative to a sub.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. Well, we've talked about Rolex. Now we've talked about Tudor. We are going to step into Omega. So show me what you've got from Omega.
Yeah, Omega has a lot of great dive watches,
yes,
right?
They do.
Mean, they are one of the big players. Here we have the Seamaster, which, I mean, we all knew was going to be on this list, right? We're talking about Submariner alternatives, and there's a million different Seamasters. I love this one. It has the white dial with the black ceramic bezel. Really modern looking, really fun, and just a great overall watch. I love Seamasters as a line, just as a whole. And when we talk about dive watches, they're up there with the best of them. So if you're looking for something that's, again, a dive watch, but a little bit different than the sub, it's, it's clearly its own watch. It has the skeleton hands. It has the wave dial, which I think is gorgeous. But it still has that, the black ceramic bezel and the stainless case and bracelet. Sometimes
you can really tell with other brands that have been inspired by the Submariner, if this is sort of what you want to say. I feel like the Seamaster, it doesn't necessarily scream inspired. It almost has its own sort of approach to the problem of being able to dive and have a capable, companion on your wrist.
It does, absolutely. And one nice thing about this one, which just is a personal like for me, is I like the 6 o'clock date. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think the
dates aren't my favorite, but I like the variety in this one.
Me too. I think it's nice. It fits nice, and I think it's a nice little touch. But that's not the only Omega.
All right.
We can move on. We have the Seamaster Planet Ocean. I really like the Planet Ocean. Personally, I like the one with the orange bezel. That's that quintessential, Planet Ocean vibe that you can see from across the room. Unfortunately, I don't have one here today, but this is no less of a watch. It's a very classic dive watch. This one's on the rubber strap, which I think is kind of nice on dive watches. But same thing. It has all the dive functionality. This one has the Helium Escape Valve, which is kind of cool. To me, it just adds a little bit more of that tooliness feel to it. Anyway, another great selection.
Big fan of the Planet Ocean. I actually do like the black bezel more than the orange personally, especially with that, understanding of it lets what you need pop. So this is a great alternative.
Omega's got tons of great Submariner alternatives. These are a couple of them.
So we're ready for our next brand. I'm excited about this Panerai.
Now we're getting into some very different. We're talking about Panerai. Of course, Panerai has their own look, right? You can notice it from across the room. And we have the Luminor submersible. Great looking watch. Definitely different than the Submariner in terms of look, but a very, very capable dive watch. High depth rating, got the luminous pip and the unidirectional bezel. And for me, this is a Panerai I want. Like, I love this look. I love the Luminor case and just everything about it screams Panerai to me. I really like the blue seconds hand on the sub dial right there. I don't know in terms of as a dive watch and capability and all that. I just think it's a nice touch aesthetically. It's really cool looking to me.
This is a really fun alternative. I personally am not the biggest Panerai fan as a whole. Sorry, Panerai, don't come after me. But this is a great watch. I think if you're really into, a more affordable option and you really do want to use this while diving, this one's fun and it's different.
It's fun, it's different. It's also large, which is could be a good thing or a bad thing.
I would say a good thing. I mean, what's your alternative to actually a luxury watch? A dive computer.
Right.
And those get to be pretty big.
Very, very big. Yeah,
exactly.
So I like the large size on it. I mean, if you're one that can't really handle a large watch or just don't prefer it, then this one's probably not one of the best alternatives for you. But it's definitely like a unique piece on its own, and it's a great alternative to a sub.
Yeah, it's fun in the water and out of the water.
Absolutely.
All right, so I know you only have a few more left. Tell us a little bit about this Breitling.
Okay, so we want to go with another brand. Let's try Breitling. And when people think of Breitling, you usually think about pilot watches and air, you know. But they do dive watches, and they do them pretty well. So here we have the Superocean, and it's a very classic dive watch, stainless steel. Has a great looking dial on it. It has the big 12, 6, and 9. That orange sweeping seconds hand is really nice. I feel like you could see it underwater.
Stands out, yeah.
To me, it's really classic, but it's not a copy. It's different. What do you think about this one?
I actually am surprised at how much I do like this. I am a novice diver, but I'll be honest, this one seems very legible, not only out of the water, but I could imagine how it's amplified in the water. It's clean, and it's functional and still very nice out of the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I travel with this one, for sure.
I like it a lot, and I think the Superocean gets overlooked a lot of times. It kind of doesn't get some of the attention that I feel like it deserves. I think partly because Breitling is such like a pilot watch. I mean, that's in their wheelhouse. That
I feel like you're either a Breitling fan or you're not.
Exactly. So anyway, Breitling is not to be forgot about when we talk about dive watches, and the Superocean is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, this is a really fun alternative. I'm glad that you brought this into the mix today.
We do have some very affordable options,
okay, let's
right?
get to it.
So,
I love this.
Last up, and certainly not least,
Ooh.
we have a couple options, and these will be the most affordable from the watches that we're talking about today. We have some Oris.
Beautiful.
First up, we have the Diver 65.
Fully demarcated.
Fully demarcated bezel.
Love it.
Unidirectional. This is very similar to their classic watches. They've really inspired this watch with the vintage pieces.
Yeah.
And I love these watches. I think it's so much watch for the money. I mean, we've talked about it on the channel before, that you just get so much watch for the amount of money that you have to pay for it. It just has so much history, and it's such a classic watch. And this is a great example for it. The Diver 65 is a pretty big line. There's tons of stuff in there that would be a great Submariner alternative. You have the extremely classic, the stainless and black on black, but then they have some really cool alternatives, some even fun color bezels, some two-tone with bronze. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff.
Two-tone.
So, and I think that I could see you getting into the Diver 65 line.
Yeah, I think you get a little bit more of an opportunity to play, or not necessarily dress up, but definitely like express sort of your, I don't know, personal vibe in your watch. It's fun. And if you are very limited on what you can take under the water anyway, having the chance to sort of play around with your colors and your straps, Oris gives you that opportunity with the Diver 65.
Great watch, and it also leaves some money in your budget to buy other watches.
Or travel to go dive.
Exactly. So we have one more, and that's our very last watch, and that is another Oris. If you like the Oris, or you like the price point, or whatever you like about it, but the kind of vintage-inspired Diver 65 isn't really your jam, and you want something that's more like closer to the Submariner in terms of look, this is going to be it. This is the Oris Aquis, and this is a stainless steel case. It's got this one has the slate dial and the black ceramic bezel. There's a very similar look to the Submariner, the newer ones that have the ceramic bezel. So it has that really modern look to it, really clean. The polished links or polished bracelet on the side links. It's just a great alternative to a Submariner that kind of has that look. I love the bezel. It gives you that same feel at a much less expensive price point, and still a very capable dive watch with all the dive features, unidirectional bezel, luminous pip, and depth rating, and all that. So I think this is a great one. It's a great choice. I'm curious to see what you think about this one.
I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised at how much I enjoy their interpretation of the Submariner, or kind of that classic dive watch look. It feels very owned by Oris. It's not fully trying to be the Submariner. It's lovely, and it still has that perfect little sheen for me that even if I'm not diving, I would still take this and wear this.
It is a very good one. I mean,
you brought 10 really good options.
There's a lot of good stuff here. I didn't realize until I had laid them all out that if I had to make a decision, it would be a lot tougher than I thought. Well, we're at that point, so I want to know, if you're choosing one of these, if we're buying today, which one are you going home with?
I will admit, you brought a beautiful range. I personally, as a novice diver, would be a little scared taking something as precious as a Rolex with me under the water.
Sure.
And this is, again, just my opinion. I really love the Tudor Pelagos. I really love the Seamaster. I'm shocked at how much I love this Aquis. But I think if I truly had to choose my one dive watch, hear me out. I love the Planet Ocean. I've said like all of them. Apparently I love all of them. But let's be honest, the Black Bay is really, I think, the watch that I would feel the most comfortable using.
So I have 2 Black Bays here, and I know, I mean, there's a lot. You could choose a Black Bay that we don't have on the table today. But we'll go ahead and let you choose between these two. Do you like the bronze case or do you like the Black Bay Black?
Obviously, I love the bronze.
Right.
There's no denying that.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm choosing one and it gets to kind of add to my collection, I'm going bronze.
Okay.
Simple.
That's a great choice. I love this one.
My husband would be stealing this.
Yeah, that's another bonus or detriment, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. You can get the green light on it a little easier that way, huh?
Yeah. All right, what about you? I gotta know.
So if I'm choosing, and I've thought about this quite a bit, but I am going to go with the Rolex Sea-Dweller.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, tell me why.
I like the Submariner. I really do. I mean, it's such a classic watch, right? But for some reason, I just have this like extra connection with the Sea-Dweller, which I think, you know, if I'm not even just I have to buy it, I think that I would choose the Sea-Dweller over the Submariner just anyways.
Now, why the Sea-Dweller, not the Deepsea?
I do like the Deepsea, and that was
just a little
in the
big?
running too. I just think the Sea-Dweller is a little more classic, and if I'm replacing a sub or I'm substituting for a sub, then the original Sea-Dweller is a little bit closer. And like I said, the Deepsea is one, but to me, it's like if I already have a Submariner, then maybe I'll buy the Deepsea as well.
Yeah.
But if I am replacing the Submariner or it's in lieu of the Submariner, I like the original one. Yeah, it's just, I think it's a great watch. Like I said before, it's a little bit tougher, a little bit off the radar, a little bit cool, and and it looks very similar to the sub, which isn't a bad thing.
Is it bad to say that I would take all of these? You've made the case now. I
Not at all.
honestly wouldn't be upset with any of these.
No, and
even the Oris Aquis, man, that one is
and a lot of them are different enough that you can start with the Oris Aquis, and then you can buy the Pelagos, and then you could, a few years later buy the Planet Ocean. Like they're all different enough that, and I mean, dive watches you can't just have one dive watch, right? So yeah, they're all great choices that I think you can't miss out of any of the ones we talked about today.
Nope, you've made a really good case for them. You've chose yours, I've chose mine. Now we want to know, what dive watch are you replacing your Submariner with? Whether you've got one or it's just the alternative, what one are you choosing? Definitely let us know in the comments. This was a fun one, Justin.
Yeah, it was really good.
Thanks so much, you guys. We will definitely be back soon, but until then, be well.